Good morning. We are going to talk today about post-workout nutrition, which is fairly similar actually to pre-workout nutrition, just more substantial because now we're done working out and we can actually have a more filling meal that's not going to weight us down. So, especially for women, I would say try your best to get your post-workout meal in within 45 minutes to an hour. Science shows that men don't have as crucial of an early window, that they can wait a little bit longer. But women, definitely we want to try to get that post-workout fuel in within an hour. And the point of getting good post-workout nutrition in is to help replenish our glycogen stores that have just been, tapped into during our workout, and also aid in repairing muscle and, rehydrating and all of that. So those are kind of the reasons. If you're like, why does this matter? As long as I get my protein in throughout the day, why does it matter? The timing and all that, but it really does. And I think you're going to just feel so much better too, especially after a heavy lifting day, getting the adequate nutrition in within that hour, not just wasting away for a few hours before you eat. So let's talk about the macros. So for carbohydrates, we want at least about 25 to 40 grams of carbs, just depending on the workout intensity. If you had a really intense workout, especially if there was cardio involved, then I would say even higher carbohydrates than that. Even maybe 60 grams of carbohydrates, 70. Some examples of good carbs to have after your workout are sweet potatoes, white rice, quinoa, oatmeal, bananas, mangoes, berries. So some fruits are great too. That's basically the gist of it. But any of those would be great. So still focusing on complex carbohydrates too. I know some fruits aren't exactly complex, but I think it's important to still make sure this is a satiating meal, not just a quick, a fast, quick carb situation. So I prefer you to have a more complex carb source. And then as far as protein goes, we want at least 25 to 30 grams after your workout. Obviously, a protein shake is a great way to do that, paired with a banana. But also lean meat is great. Notice I'm saying lean, and I will kind of go into that in a minute. It's really not a big deal if, you decide you want some 85-15 ground beef, or salmon or chicken thighs. It's not gonna make or break your progress in any way, shape, or form, but I will just kind of explain why we want to lean towards choosing leaner meats in a minute. You can also do Greek yogurt, which would be yummy in an overnight oats situation. You do cottage cheese. I'm trying to think. That's basically, tofu if you're vegan, of course. And then as far as fats, here's the deal. You want healthy fats in your diet, but post-workout, if you remember, fats slow digestion. So what we're trying to do is transport glycogen to the muscles as soon as possible. And to have a fatty meal means we're going to slow that process because fats take us so much longer to digest. So here's what I suggest doing. Keep the fats to a minimum in that post-workout meal. It could be a little bit of nut butter, but definitely not a full 2 tablespoons. It could be, trying to think of an example, a little drizzle of olive oil, but not a full tablespoon of olive oil. It could be, a quarter of an avocado, but definitely not the full avocado. It could be a tablespoon of chia seeds, but definitely no more than that. So that's the gist on fats. Don't be oh my gosh, I can't ever have a fatty meal after a workout, but just know in general, it would be more helpful to your muscles if you did a lower fat meal. Another thing to keep in mind is electrolytes. If you're not already drinking them throughout the day, definitely drink them after your workout, especially if it was a sweaty one. And I like to take magnesium at lunch and dinner. I'll do, I think it's like 200 or 300 milligrams at lunch and dinner. So that's what I prefer to do. I feel really good doing that versus just taking it all before bed. And magnesium is a great thing to kind of help with recovery of the muscles. So highly recommend maybe throwing some of that in to the equation post-workout as well, if it is around that lunchtime. But yeah, so here's some post-workout meal ideas. You could do grilled chicken, sweet potato, and maybe like some broccoli. You could do a protein shake, which I love. You could do whey or plant-based or whatever, with banana and or berries, and like just a tiny bit of peanut butter or just a sprinkle of chia seeds. Or you could do, you know, like a salmon, which is a little bit fattier, like a salmon or shrimp or I'm trying to think of a tuna bowl with rice and maybe like some sauteed veggies like spinach, and then just like a tiny bit of avocado. But all those are great options. And obviously this just kind of depends on the time of day that you are working out and everything. If you work out like first thing in the morning, then maybe you would enjoy the protein shake after. You could also do, like I said earlier, like overnight oats with Greek yogurt and, you know, a little bit of chia seeds, oats, maybe some bananas or berries, and protein powder in there as well. And that would be like the perfect treat. Yeah, that's it, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.